She knew something was wrong. In the hours before she died, Ashley Dale sent message after message to her friends. "I feel like someone's watching me. I don't like any of this. I feel like a sitting duck just waiting to be shot." She was right. At 12:41 inches the morning, armed men kicked in her front door and opened fire. 8 bullets from a submachine gun. Ashley ran for the back door. She didn't make it. Here's the part that'll stop you cold. She was never even the target. The men who came that night weren't there for her. They wanted her boyfriend. And when they didn't find him, they killed her anyway. This is real, this is documented, and every detail you're about to hear is backed by surveillance footage, court testimony, and the kind of evidence that sent 4 men away for a combined 173 years. Welcome to one of the most heartbreaking true crime cases in recent memory. A documentary account of a young woman who saw her own death coming and couldn't do a thing to stop it. This is the story of Ashley Dale.
What do you know about the murder of Ashley Dale?
Please, if there's anyone here, make yourself known!
Do you know anything about it?
Oh, hello, Mr. Niall.
Do you know why Ashley was shot and killed?
No comment.
Liverpool, England. A city that pulses with history, birthplace of the Beatles, home of one of the most legendary football clubs on the planet. Walk through the Albert Dock and you feel it immediately. The energy, the pride, the character of a city that wears its identity loud and unapologetic. But on the night of August 20th, 2022, in a quiet residential pocket called Old Swan, just a few miles east of the city centre, something monstrous unfolded. At 12:41 a.m., a frantic 911-style emergency call came in. A neighbour had heard what sounded like gunshots, then looked outside and saw a woman lying motionless in her own backyard. Officers arrived within minutes. The house was dead silent. The front door had been kicked clean off its hinges. The back door hung open like someone had fled in a panic or tried desperately to escape. In the garden, officers stopped cold. A young woman lay collapsed on the patio, covered in blood, her body twisted in a way that told its own brutal story. A cell phone lay just inches from her hand. Inside, spent bullet casings were scattered across the floor. For British officers, this was not a routine call. Shootings of this nature are extraordinarily rare in the UK. This wasn't a statistic. This was a massacre in a residential home, and an entire neighbourhood would never be the same. To understand this case, you have to understand who Ashley Dale actually was, because nothing about her life should have ended this way. She was born and raised in Liverpool, the eldest of 3 children. From a young age, Ashley was the one holding everything together, looking out for her younger brother and sister, checking on her parents, the kind of person a family leans on without even realizing it. But in 2015, that family was shattered. Ashley's younger brother Lewis, just 16 years old, was shot and killed, mistaken for someone else in a gang clash. That kind of loss doesn't just break you, it rewires you. And for Ashley, it left a permanent mark. But instead of collapsing under the weight of it, she pushed forward. She earned a degree in environmental health, landed a position as an environmental safety inspector. Her colleagues knew her as driven, compassionate, deeply committed to improving living conditions for real people in her community. Outside the office, she was walking her dog Dash, spending time with friends and family, living the kind of quiet, grounded life that had nothing to do with the criminal world. Her family called her a ray of light, and by every account, that's exactly what she was. So how does a woman like that end up in the crosshairs? One word, one relationship, one man named Lee Harrison, and the moment Ashley fell for him, the clock started ticking. Lee Harrison, 28 years old. Liverpool born and raised and deeply embedded in the criminal underworld from the time he was a teenager. Drugs, gangs, street violence. That was his world. His closest running partner was a man named Niall Barry, a local dealer with serious weight in Liverpool's drug trade. Together, they moved everything from marijuana to high-grade cocaine. The partnership was built on trust, shared risk, and serious money. Then someone stole from Niall. In 2018, members of a local crew called the Hillsiders robbed Niall Barry of drugs worth roughly $40,000. And because Niall had been keeping everything at his own home, the loss hit personal. He started digging, and the deeper he dug, the more one name kept surfacing: Lee Harrison. Niall became convinced that Lee had tipped off the Hillsiders, that his own partner had set him up. Lee denied it, but in that world, denial means nothing once trust is gone. From that moment, two former friends became sworn enemies, and their falling out ignited an open war. To protect himself, Lee went all in. He officially aligned with the Hillsiders, choosing a side and doubling down on the conflict. The bad blood festered for years. Then in June 2022, everything exploded again. Lee and Ashley attended the iconic Glastonbury Festival, just looking to decompress, enjoy the music, get away from it all. But fate doesn't take weekends off. Somewhere in that crowd of thousands, they crossed paths with one of Niall Barry's associates. Words were exchanged. Fists followed. Niall wasn't present for the fight, but he heard about it fast, and his response was immediate and bone-chilling. Next time I see Lee, I'll stab him in the back. That threat wasn't empty, and Ashley Dale was now caught directly in its path. Shortly after the Glastonbury confrontation, police conducted a stop and search on Niall Barry. The bodycam footage tells its own story. Officers found a knife tucked inside his bag, the same bag carrying his passport. Niall was placed under arrest on the spot. But then something telling happened. A man named James Whittam stepped forward and claimed the knife was his. He took the arrest. Niall walked free. It was a calculated move, the kind of quiet loyalty that keeps criminal networks running. But all it did was delay the inevitable. The conflict didn't cool down. It accelerated. And Ashley felt every bit of it.
You got onto a bear for it. Okay, we believe they may have drugs on you. We're in the vehicle, okay? So we're taking you for a search. A piece of another on spray, ropes to the unit, okay? So we can use your hand.
Passport. James has got £700 in cash on him, but that's below the threshold. Oh, hello, Mr. Niall.
Yeah, that'll do.
Niall, time is 25 to, mate. You're going to be arrested under suspicion of possession of that, okay?
That's not my bag.
It's in your bag with your passport in it, okay?
Yeah, I've just showed that to you before. My passport was in his bag.
So you don't have to say anything in my own defence if you don't mention any questions. Think you later on in court, anything you do say may be given in evidence, alright?
That's not my bag.
It's got your passport in it.
Ask him, he grabbed all my stuff before.
Hmm?
Ask him, he grabbed all my stuff before.
Is it just one bag?
No, there's two bags.
My bag's the carrier bag, the white bag. With all the clothes in.
You did say straight away that his passport's going to be in his mate's bag.
I did say that, yeah, I did say that. Ask him.
Right. You're under arrest for now, okay?
Till we bottom it out.
It's your bag, is it? Say again? The big blue holder. So, I'm going to arrest you then, on suspicion of possession of this, okay? So you don't have to say anything but may harm your defence if you don't mention any questions, think of it in court, okay? Anything you do say maybe give evidence.
After Glastonbury, something shifted in her. For the first time, the danger stopped feeling abstract. She knew Niall had made threats. She knew those threats included her. And she knew the kind of men capable of carrying them out. She stopped sleeping well. She flinched at sounds outside. She started reaching out to friends, trying to put words to a fear she couldn't shake. Mo, I'm anxious. I can't shake the feeling that something's about to happen. The messages kept coming, each one darker than the last. I constantly feel like someone is watching me. I don't know how much longer I can take this. I feel like a sitting duck just waiting to be shot. I keep hearing strange noises outside. I don't know if it's just my imagination, or if someone's really there. It wasn't her imagination. Every instinct Ashley had was firing at full volume, and she was absolutely right. The predator was already closing in. She just didn't know how close. August 20th, 2022. The evening started like any other. Ashley and her friend Dala were settled in at home, quiet night, nothing unusual. Lee was out with friends. Ashley even snapped a photo of the two of them on the couch and sent it to someone. A normal moment. The kind you don't think twice about. Then the car alarm went off. Sharp, sudden, cutting through the night air. Ashley recognized it immediately. That was her car. She brushed it off at first, figured the rain had triggered it, and messaged her friend. The alarm went off again, probably because of the rain. But it went off again, and something about it this time sat differently with her. I don't know. I feel like someone's walking around the house. Then, a third time. Now Ashley had no doubt this was not the rain. I'm really on edge tonight. I don't like any of this. What she didn't know, what she couldn't have known, was that two men had already been outside. They had crouched down beside her white Volkswagen and slashed all 4 tires clean through, deliberately, methodically. The alarm was never an accident. It was bait designed to lure Ashley or Lee outside. When nobody came out, they pulled back, regrouped, and came up with a new plan. Around 1 a.m. A sharp knock rang through the house. Ashley froze. Every nerve in her body screamed. Then the front door exploded open. An armed man stormed inside and opened fire without hesitation. Ashley grabbed her phone and ran sprinting toward the back door, toward the garden, toward any chance of escape. She didn't make it. A bullet struck her in the back. She collapsed on the patio, phone still in hand. While Dalla hid in terror, the attackers swept through the house firing into rooms, hunting for Lee. But Lee wasn't there. He was never there. In the garden, wounded and alone in the dark, Ashley Dale took her last breaths. Her final messages sent just minutes before the attack had described this moment with chilling accuracy. She had known. She had warned everyone around her, and nobody could save her. When detectives arrived and began processing the scene, the full picture came into focus, and it was devastating. Every tire on Ashley's car had been deliberately slashed. The alarm wasn't a coincidence or a weather glitch. It was a trap. The killers had engineered the entire setup to draw someone out of that house, and when it didn't work, they kicked the door in and went in themselves. Ashley's final messages became immediate evidence. Every text, every timestamp, every expression of fear she had typed out in the hours before her death, all of it handed detectives a real-time account of the lead-up to her murder. She had documented her own killing without even knowing it. But the investigation hit walls fast. At the center of those walls was Lee Harrison. From the moment police made contact, Lee was uncooperative. He refused to give testimony, sat through formal interrogations in complete silence, changed his phone number, stopped responding to Ashley's family, entirely the same family that had just lost their daughter because of his enemies, his war, his world. The silence was deafening, and deeply suspicious. Then came the move that nobody saw coming. Within days of Ashley's murder, Lee Harrison boarded a flight to Spain. That's right, his girlfriend had just been executed inside their home, and he was on a beach. Detectives didn't have time to sit with their outrage. While Lee was overseas, they were already rebuilding the night minute by minute through surveillance footage. Cameras picked up James Whittam and Joseph Pierce visiting a local store before the attack, then climbing into a grey Hyundai. That same vehicle was later captured on camera, crawling slowly through the Page Moss area near Ashley's home, scoping the street, timing their approach. At 11:30 p.m., the two men moved on Ashley's car, slashed the tires, triggered the alarm, waited. Nobody came out, so they left. And they came back an hour later this time with a Scorpion submachine gun. They kicked in the front door, stormed through the house. Ashley ran. James Whittam pulled the trigger. 8 rounds fired. 1 bullet found her back. She fell in the garden. Whittam then went upstairs and fired 5 more rounds into an empty bedroom, still hunting for Lee, a man who was out with friends while his girlfriend bled out on the patio. Both men fled. But a neighbor's security camera caught their escape, and that footage would become one of the most critical pieces of evidence in the entire case. Their next stop was a hotel in St. Helens, where they tried to lay low. It didn't work. Detectives were already on them. A lookout was issued for an Audi Q7. A patrol unit spotted it, and within minutes, James Whittam and Joseph Pierce were face down in handcuffs. Niall Barry, the man who ordered it all, was tracked down at a country golf club in Formby. A tactical unit locked down every exit. He had been planning to flee the country. He never got the chance.
Open the door. Alright lads, keep your hands where you can see him. Just keep your hands where you can see him, pal. Can put you in some handcuffs. Yeah, one about that side, just need driver out that side. Yeah, no bother. Just open door for us, mate, until we confirm your identity. We'll put you in handcuffs. What's your name, fella? Eh? Joseph. Tom's just getting driver out and all 3 will be secure. Arrest on suspicion of murder, okay? You don't have to say anything. I am a defence, you don't mention one question. Some things you later rely in court, and anything you do say maybe give evidence. Understand that?
Suspicion of murder. Suspicion of murder.
Hello mate, how are you doing? doing?
Just gonna put you in cuffs, mate. All right. What's your name, fella?
Francis.
Say that again.
Francis Kelly.
Gary.
Francis.
Gary Francis.
Francis Kelly.
Francis Gary.
Francis Kelly.
Carrie.
Kelly.
Kelly. It's all right. My ears, your. Right, we'll walk over here, fella. You got anything on you shouldn't? No. Anything in the vehicle that you shouldn't be? Yeah, James? Right, okay, you're under arrest for suspicion of murder. Alright, you don't have to say anything. The may harm your defence, you don't mention one question, so you can push whatever line in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. Alright? Whatever time was now, yeah. Come on, we'll come over here, we'll sit behind my vehicle. It's confirmed that he is James.
The fourth conspirator, Shane Ziegler, who helped plan the murder, was arrested shortly after. All 4 men were in custody. Now it was time for a courtroom. By October 2023, all 4 men were seated in a courtroom facing the full weight of what they had done. James Whittam took the stand and tried to reframe the narrative. He claimed he never intended to kill Ashley, said he only wanted to frighten Lee, fire a few shots, send a message, nothing more. Her death, according to him, was an accident. The jury wasn't buying it, because the evidence didn't leave room for that story. The threats were documented, the surveillance footage was airtight. Ashley's messages, her own words, her own fear, recorded in real time, painted an undeniable picture of a premeditated, calculated attack. And then there was the weapon itself. You don't show up to someone's home at 1 AM with a Scorpion submachine gun to knock on the door and talk things out. Ashley had screamed in terror as armed men burst into her home. She had run for her life, and James Whittam had aimed and fired anyway. 8 bullets. 1 found her back. That was no accident. In November 2023, the verdicts came down. 4 life sentences, a combined minimum of 173 years behind bars before any of them would be eligible for parole. James Whittam, life sentence, minimum 43 years. Niall Barry, life sentence, minimum 47 years. Joseph Pearce, life sentence, minimum 41 years. Shane Ziegler, life sentence, minimum 42 years. For Ashley's family, it was justice. But justice and closure are 2 very different things, and no sentence handed down in any courtroom was going to bring their daughter back. Her mother stood before the world and said it plainly. My life essentially ended that day. Those 3 words, Ashley is gone, extinguished the light in my soul forever. Time stopped for me. There are no words that follow something like that. You just sit with it. If you've watched this channel for any length of time, you know how these stories end. Tragedy is almost always the last word. But take a moment here. Stop and really think about what Ashley's mother carried into that courtroom and carries every single day since. She didn't just lose a daughter. She had to identify her body. She had to choose a coffin. She had to decide what Ashley would wear not to a wedding, not to a graduation, but to her own funeral. That is a grief so specific, so unbearable, that most people can't even let their minds go there. And here is the part that makes this family's story almost incomprehensible. This wasn't their first time. Years earlier, Ashley's younger brother Lewis had been shot and killed, also mistaken for someone else, also caught in the crossfire of gang violence he had nothing to do with. At Ashley's funeral, her father stood up and said words no parent should ever have to say. Ashley was the eldest of my 3 children. Lewis was the youngest, and now both are gone. Both gone. Their youngest daughter, Ashley's little sister, was supposed to be home that night. A prior commitment kept her away. That one random circumstance is the only reason this family didn't lose all 3 of their children. In the wake of Ashley's death, her family didn't retreat into silence. They stepped forward. They spoke openly about gang violence, about the cost paid by innocent people, about Ashley's life and what it meant. The community rallied around them, memorials, tributes, vigils. A neighborhood that had been shaken to its core, refusing to let her name fade quietly. And then there's Lee. Lee Harrison, the man whose enemies pulled the trigger, whose war claimed Ashley's life, whose silence buried the investigation in mud, faced 0 criminal charges. He walked. He's still walking. More than that, by all accounts, he never stopped. Still selling cocaine and heroin. Still operating in the same world that got Ashley killed. still profiting off the same trade that painted a target on her back. And on the second anniversary of her death, he posted on Instagram, 2 years gone, miss you. You were a true fighter, rest in peace. That was it. That was all he had. A woman is dead because of the life he chose. Her family buried 2 children, and he posted a caption. Some people never reckon with what they've cost the world. Lee Harrison appears to be one of them. Ashley Dale was 28 years old. She had a degree, a career, a dog named Dash, and a family that loved her completely. She sensed the danger coming, and told everyone around her. She did everything right, and none of it was enough. Trust your instincts. Look out for the people around you, and never underestimate what someone's world can cost you when you step inside it. If you're new here, subscribe. We cover true crime cases just like this one, and there's a lot more coming.